Hello everyone, welcome to the STA Club. Today I will talk about Keppel DC REIT and the recent operational updates followed by the outlook. Welcome back to the STA Club, the club of trading and analysis. This channel is dedicated to providing you with high quality tutorials, guides and insights that demystify the world of trading and investing. Join us as we will share more trading secrets and valuable insights. To stay updated and be the first to access these valuable resources, hit that subscribe button now. By subscribing, you're opening the door to a world of trading and maximizing your potential for success. Before we dive in, here is a quick disclaimer. The information in this video is for educational purpose only. It is not a call to buy or sell. Keppel DC REIT was listed on the Singapore Exchange in 2014. Initially, the REIT had only 4 data centers in Singapore. Over the years, the company has grown its portfolio through acquisitions and developments. Keppel DC REIT's investment strategy is to invest directly or indirectly in a diversified portfolio of income-producing real estate assets, primarily for data center purposes. It is managed by the Keppel DC REIT management and sponsored by Keppel, a global asset manager and operator with a strong expertise in sustainability-related solutions spanning the areas of infrastructure, real estate, and connectivity. Here I have the Keppel DC REIT structure as of 30 September 2024. As you can see, Keppel is the sponsor and the trustee is responsible for holding the REIT's assets on behalf of the unit holders like you and me. The trustee is also responsible for ensuring that the REIT complies with all applicable laws and regulations and for protecting the rights of the unit holders. The REIT manager sets and executes the strategic direction of the REIT according to the investment strategy. For instance, it is responsible for the acquisition and divestment of the REIT's properties. At present, Keppel DC REIT is one of the largest data center REITs in Asia Pacific. The REIT's portfolio is well diversified across geographies and tenants. The Keppel DC REIT has a strong track record of delivering stable distributions to its unit holders. The REIT is well positioned to benefit from the growing demand for data center space in the region. I will talk about the recent operational updates and the outlook for Keppel DC REIT. When looking at REITs, there are 6 things we look out for. Number 1, the income of the REIT business. Number 2, the distribution history. Which is the amount of dividends you get over the past few years. And number 3, the debt. And number 4, the assets under their management, which commonly known as AUM. Number 5, the tenant mix. And last but not least, the occupancy. Is it mostly occupied or is it only like 50% occupied? As well as this thing called the WALE, the weighted average lease expiry. I will touch on it furthermore as we proceed. We talk about the income, and this is the income. You can see that the net property income is a percentage change for 4.6%, third quarter versus the last quarter. And year-on-year comparison, there is a slight dip. So this is the income we are looking at. And when it comes to distribution, there is an increase of 6.3%. This tells us that Keppel DC REIT is earning a sizable, decent income, able to give out dividends to the unit holders. Moving on, we also talk about debt, and all this information is actually very well provided by the REIT themselves. So you can check out their website, their investor relations website, to look for the information when you do your analysis in the future. You can see that the leverage is below 40%. So just to give you some color on the regulations, I have here the MAS website. You can see the leverage requirements for REITs, a minimum of interest coverage ratio of 1.5 times and aggregate leverage limit of 50%. So just now what we saw was less than 50%, which is good. That means they are not over leveraging. Now let's take a look at their property performance, which is the AUM that I just talked about. Now let's take a look at the AUM, which is also the property performance of Keppel DC REIT. Since the IPO, Keppel DC REIT has been growing at a 13% CAGR, which is impressive. From 8 assets, they are currently holding 23 assets. So what we know about Keppel DC REIT in terms of the income, they are growing. The distribution they're giving to investors, yes, they are growing as well. The debt, the leverage they're taking is within the MAS regulations, and the AUM is growing healthily. What about the tenant profile? This is the tenant profile. You can see that they have a diversified global client base. They have the Fortune 500 companies. If I have to pick a bone with this business, that would be they have 42% rental income derived from the internet enterprise. But with the advance of technology, everyone has to work with internet. So I would say that this is still okay. So the total number of customers, you can see there are 74 of them, which is diversified. And the top 10 clients are all presented here. They are top companies, Fortune 500 companies. And what is this hyperscaler? I will talk about it later. And I'm going to end off this operational update with the occupancy. So let's take a look at the occupancy. So we want the property to have tenants. Most of the time, you can see that 97.6% is the occupancy rate, which is very good. And just now we talked about the WALE, which is the weighted average lease expiry. So what exactly is that? The WALE has 6.3 years. So this measures the average length of time that the tenants are expected to remain in this property. So that means at least for the next 6 years, we're going to see the tenants staying with us on an average. One major news that has an impact on Keppel DC REIT recently is they acquired 2 AI-ready data centers. And what is this hyperscale? Some of you may be wondering. So what's the big deal with this hyperscale? According to internationalbanker.com, what sets the hyperscale data center apart from the other data center is the sheer size. So this will allow them to serve the needs of the giants who are very into AI, such as Amazon, Google, Microsoft. So this will help them to deliver the key services to their global customer bases. So that's the big hoo-ha about the recent news on Keppel DC REIT. And according to Gartner, IT spending growth will be led by the AI data center demand. So the outlook for Keppel DC REIT is relatively optimistic. So what's going to happen after this acquisition? Once again, you can find the data from the Keppel DC Investor Relations. One key thing to note, this is DPU accretion. This means that there is more returns in terms of a DPU distribution per unit perspective. So there's a 11.1% increase immediately. And if they are able to enjoy this 10-year extension, the yield would be 8.1%. There is also potential for more upside because there's unutilized space. Therefore, the potential for capacity expansion and hence more income is in view. Last but not least, I'd like to end off by going back to the risk management side of things. This is what's going to happen when the AUM increase, and it's going to increase by quite a bit, which is 36%. This allows the Keppel DC REIT to have more income, that's one. And secondly, and by doing this share issuing, they are going to lower their aggregate leverage from 39.7% to 33.3%. So that's all I have for you. I'd like to reiterate that we just went through the 6 things that we want to look at when we are talking about the operational update, and that is income, the distribution per unit, we talk about the debt, we talk about the assets under management, we talk about the top 10 tenants, and we talk about the occupancy with the weighted average lease expiry, followed by the outlook, where I talk about how the yield can increase and how the aggregate leverage is reduced through this acquisition. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.